What up, y'all? UFC T-Dot Breakdowns. We here for UFC Fight Night 209 Paris. Gane versus Tuivasa. Alright, we had Bisping, Felder, and John Gooden on the call. John Gooden, of course, is he's one of the UK announcers. Everything he says sounds like he's talking about a soccer match, regardless of he's like, oh, that head kick. It just sounds like they're going for the goal. But anyways, so first up we had Alina Perez versus Stephanie Egger. Stephanie Egger was just in there against Mayra Bueno Silva, the one where Egger got submitted but then refused to admit that she tapped, so they had to like do the replay, and Silva was crying because she was, I would never cheat. It's like, no, you weren't the one. You weren't. Anyways, Egger, Alina Perez is like this up and comer fighter. They made a big deal about her. She apparently loves to twerk. She calls herself Princess Fiona from Shrek because she's a big, ugly, mean bitch who loves the orc who loves to twerk. Yeah, Egger literally had 1 week notice to get into this fight. Egger controlled her almost everywhere, like the whole fight. Perez did land a nice spinning back fist. It's very clear in the grappling exchanges that Perez was stronger, but Egger was just technically better. In the second round, Egger ended up taking Perez down. I think she actually switched the position. Perez took her down and she switched the position, ended up getting on the back, getting a rear naked choke. Egger won the second round, rear naked choke. Egger's mean. Don't get it twisted. She's mean. So next up we had Khalid Taha versus Christian Quinones. This one might have been an early stoppage. Like Taha looked really, he looked strong, he looked fast. It seemed like every time Taha actually landed a punch, Q reacted. It was crazy. His Taha didn't look like he was throwing anything. Like every punch is just like, but like every time he hit Q, like he was reacting to it. Q landed this straight right hand as Taha was like lunging in, and that like Taha went down, and then when he went down, Quinones hit him with a couple more punches and KO'd him on the ground. And like, this is what I mean, but like it might have been an early stoppage, because in the moment it looked bad. He looked like he was out. But I mean, like the moment the ref stepped in, Taha looked perfectly fine. And there wasn't a moment when Quinones wasn't hitting him in that sequence. So there was never a point for the ref to assess how he was doing, because his head was getting knocked back by punches the whole time. And it looked bad. Like I don't fault the ref for this one, because he looked like he was out. But the moment the ref stopped the fight, Taha, number one, was still being defensive, still trying to defend himself, and immediately, like, he didn't jump up like, oh, no. He just was like, oh, ref, what the fuck, man? And like, normally those calm, collected arguments with the ref be the ones that are like, what the hell? Like when Derek Lewis fell down, like Derek Lewis didn't jump up and go, oh, no, with wobbly legs. He just was like, oh, ref, it's fucked up, man. I'm right here, dude. Anyways, again, this one, you can't really blame the ref. It looked like he was in a much worse state than I think he was. There's this deal with Under Armour and The Rock and the UFC for the official shoes of the shoeless UFC fighters. They're red shoes with The Rock's logo and the UFC on them. They're made from Under Armour. It's a thing. V-chain on the ring. Next up, we had Benoit Saint-Denis versus Gabriel Miranda. Benoit Saint-Denis is like a French special forces dude, too tough for his own guy. I remember some match, like I think he lost this match. But I just remember he was getting beat up so fucking bad, but he like he's like, I've been shot, I'm a soldier. Fuck, this pain don't hurt. He just muscled through it. Anyways, he's getting better though. He's getting much better. But you could see like he's so rough around the edges. Saint-Denis. Miranda has a handlebar mustache. I just like that. Miranda has like 5 different types of submission wins. All his wins are by submissions except for one, I believe. Benoit Saint-Denis is throwing this front kick up the middle. It looked like the very first front kick he threw hurt Miranda. Saint-Denis, there was a few different times in the fight where Saint-Denis just wouldn't let him up. Like Miranda's on the ground on his back wanting Sandy to come down so he could try jiu-jitsu him. Sandy is not going down into it, but he's just standing right over him, but he's not really doing anything. So like he can't get up, but he's not engaging. And it's like he did it more than once where the ref had to come and be like, let him up. What are you like? At some point the ref yelled it, like, let him up. What are you doing? Either get in there or let him up. And I think it was inexperience though. I don't think it was anything like he was trying to do. I think he's on the ground, I'm above him, I should be right here. I really think that's what was going on, but I don't know. So, but at some point, Saint Denis was really winning, and like the fight probably could have been stopped, but like I don't think Saint Denis like knew how to just go finish it, or maybe he just needed to be told to go finish it because in between the second and third round, his corner was like, "Dude, he's done. Go finish him," and he just went in there and finished him. And I just feel like it was like like he didn't even understand it. He didn't even know. Like he just was in there fighting. He didn't even realize his opponent was that hurt because I think he's so inexperienced with like UFC combat fighting. I think he's only used to the death combat fighting. He threw a bunch of spinning back fists. I don't know why he landed a bunch of them too, but he threw a bunch of spinning back fists. Saint-Denis won by TKO in round 2. He went out and finished him. Like literally between rounds, his corner was like, "You gotta get in there and finish him. He's fucking done." And he went in there and finished him. The crowd went wild. He's French. There's a bunch of French fighters on the card there in France. Next we have Fares Ziam versus Michael Figlac. Ziam is so tall for 155. He's 6'1" and 155. They don't even look like the same kind of animal when they're in the ring together. There was some fun striking exchanges earlier in the fight. Like neither one of them are really considered grapplers, so there's a bunch of grappling. You know, it kind of happens. You get two grapplers, they end up punching it out. You get two punchers, they end up grappling it out. They kind of neutralize each other sometimes. Ziam, crazily enough, looked better in the striking. He looked better on the ground. He has some slick ground and pound, like not big dominant, knock your head into the ground and pound, but just it was really slick and savvy the way he was able to land punches and ground and pound. He's so long and tall that he was just up like a million miles away, just aiming them in. Ziam almost ended there round 2 with a spinning back elbow. Ziam just looked better everywhere. Ziam won by unanimous decision. Next up, we had John Makdessi versus Nasrat Haqparast, Mini Gaslam. Early in the fight, it seemed like they both were throwing a lot of punches and no one was landing any punches. Like they just were missing each other, like barely, like hair on your chin missing. Like apparently they used to train together. At some point, Makdessi just called a timeout, and like the referee just, "Hey, no calling your own timeouts," but he just literally was like, "Timeout," and everyone stopped. I don't know. Haqparast had this counter hook knockdown in round 2. Round 3, Haqparast was literally running, and Makdessi was literally running after him. And Haqparast was using this as a perfect opportunity to just like land these blast double leg takedowns. Haqparast won by unanimous decision. It was a pretty close fight, but I mean, Haqparast was just getting the better of him in the exchanges, and all those takedowns were adding up. Especially towards the end, he just landed like 3 or 4 takedowns in a row, just right at the very end. Like he just was baiting him in. He was, landing and running, like back turned almost running. And Makdessi was just stalking him, so he was catching him with these takedowns. The prelims main event was Abis Magomedov versus Dustin Stoltzfus. This is another one that I don't know. Might have been a little bit of an early finish. Again, it looks bad in real speed. I don't necessarily fault the ref for this one either. This is 2 times where the refs have, I believe, maybe gotten it wrong. Maybe not, but it's neither one of their faults. It isn't like a bad decision or a bad call. Like, I think both refs made the right decision based on what it looked like, especially in real time. But I think both refs may have gotten it wrong. Abis Magomedov, man, he looks like a giant 8-year-old. He's got this like afro. He looks like Chase Hooper, but just like the grown-up Chase Hooper. He landed some crazy combo. It's weird because it's like Magomedov landed a front kick, and then an uppercut, a left hook, some right hands to follow. That's it, right? But the thing is, Stoltzfus was still moving. He was still trying to fight. He argued immediately. He didn't do the with the wobbly legs. He just was like, "Hey, man, I'm pretty sure I saw him mouth, 'What the fuck?' Like, I'm not out. I wasn't even out. I was fighting the whole time. But it's another one that in real time it looked bad, but in slow motion and watching it in replay, it looked like that was an early stoppage. Like I said, there was actually a point where you're watching it where he could have been flash knocked out, and then he got punched again, and it woke him back up. That's very possible. It's happened before. All right, I mean, like, even after the fight, like, he was kind of sort of arguing during the announcements. Like, he showed respect to his opponent, but, like, he was kind of mad with the ref, and he was talking, he was, like, complaining about it. And, like, at some point, even Bruce Buffer came up to him and was like, you know, whispered something to him, and the only thing I got out of whatever he said to him was at the very end, he said, they all know you're a warrior, or something like that he said. But, like, he was complaining his whole time out there because, I don't really blame him, because, again, even if he was hurt really badly, he wasn't out. There's been fights where the other guy is dead and they just let the fight keep going. And then this guy in round one in a scramble, they're like, it's over, because he landed some punches on you, and the dude's like, what do you mean it's over? I'm not. Anyways, again, 2 fights that happened on the prelims, but again, I don't really feel like the ref made the wrong call in either scenario. I feel like it was just a situation where the good call, the right call, the call that was made was the only one that could have been made, and it just sucks. All right, I think that's it for these prelims. Like, subscribe, follow all the good shit. UFC Breakdowns, UFC Paris. Bye.